So at first, we'll take a little check and then we'll recheck. So just come stand in Tadasana in your mountain pose and close your eyes if that feels okay for you. And starting at your feet, take a little scan up your body and notice your joints, so your ankles, knees, your hips, and continue up the body until you get into your head. Just notice if there's anything that stands out to you in particular, any sensations that you feel, anything like that. Yeah. Now keep your eyes closed if you can. Lift your toes up and notice if you shift back, and most of us will. And then as you set your toes down, notice, do you stay back or do you shift forward again? All right, open up your eyes and then take a turn. Turn your torso to the right and just see how that feels, how far you go, and pick a point where your shoulder meets, or kind of draw a line from your shoulder to the wall behind you, and then come the other direction. Yeah, see if that's different at all from side to side, and then come forward again. Also notice where you are standing on your mat, and we'll try to match that same point in a little bit. Let's now take a forward fold, keeping in mind we are not warmed up at all, so just notice how far down you go and how it feels in your legs. Yeah. Then bend your knees a little bit, bring your hands to your hips, shift forward to come up. All right. And then let's grab the ball, and we'll put the ball under your right foot with the heel on the floor and the ball in front of your foot. Now, if balance is an issue for you, go stand close to a wall or a piece of furniture. And at first, just give yourself a little bit of a weight shift between the right and left. And you can put as much or little pressure on the ball as is comfortable for you. I once had a student, she didn't say anything until the very end, and she said, "Oh, that felt like a nail was going through my foot." And I said, "Oh, I think that might have been a little too hard." So we don't want any nails. Nice. Now keep a little pressure here on your right foot and start to move the outer foot towards the floor and then the inner foot towards the floor. And do that just slowly back and forth. We'll keep the heel down for now. And then the next request is a little bit of a strange one. So pivot your foot. So your foot goes to the right, but the ball goes to the left. And we want to stretch the skin on the sole of your foot. Yeah. And then come back to center and go again. So give a little squash. Move the foot towards the right, the ball towards the left, stretching the sole of your foot as you go. Yeah. Do it one more time. Nice. Now stay here and keep the ball more towards the inner foot and do a little squash release on that inner part of your foot. Oh, yeah. Okay, and then pause. Let's come back to center. And now we're going to go the opposite direction. So move your foot in and the ball out, stretching the skin. And go again. I have my favorite ball that I use for this, but I didn't bring it, so I just grabbed one of the other ones. It's a little intense, you know. No nails, but it's a little more intense than my other ball. Now, once you're here with the outer foot on the ball, do a little squash, release. And it's possible that this outer foot is less pleasant than the inner foot. All right, and then pause, and we'll move the ball. So now it's under your heel. And I'll be specific. Have it at the front of your heel. Then give a squash as much pressure as is tolerable and give yourself kind of a quick side to side right at the front of your heel. Yeah. And then you can maneuver the foot forward a little bit, get more to the middle of the heel. Yeah. Good. almost like you're trying to scrape gum off your shoe. Okay, now move your heel to the floor and the ball under the ball of your foot. And then we'll squeeze the toes in, make a foot fist, and open your toes apart and give them a little wiggle. Do that a couple of times. Squeeze in, open apart, little wiggle. I'm doing it with my hand just because it's easier to see. Good. All right. Now from here, relax your toes and pivot on the heel as you go across the ball of your foot. Side to side. Yeah. All right. Now pause here and let's shift forward and back along the length of your foot. You can give as much or little pressure as you like and take a few pass-throughs on the inner part of the foot, that inner arch. Then a few passes straight through the center and a few passes on the outer part of the foot. Yeah. And then with very little, almost no pressure at all, start to move your foot very quickly in random directions. Yeah, I always want to do a little dance when we do this one. Yeah. All right. And then let's pause and come off the ball. Close your eyes and notice. Notice your two sides. So we've done a lot of stuff on one and not on the other. And there might be an obvious feeling of difference in the feet, but scan up higher. Notice the joints of the right leg versus the left leg. Yeah. All right. And then open your eyes. Let's do a forward fold. I know we haven't done the other side yet, but come down and see. Sometimes when we do this, the side that we've done, that arm is longer. Zach, what do you say? A little bit? Pretty close, yeah. All right, and then come back up. Yeah, let's do the left side. I'm mirroring you, so it's my right, but your left. Put the heel on the floor and the ball in front of the heel, kind of right in the center of your foot. And then just very gently, very gradually give yourself a little pressure and release. Yeah. And keep your heel down for this part. This is what I used to do every day when I was training for my first marathon, and it was a miracle. Like, it really helped. And I totally fell off the wagon. I need to do it more regularly. Yeah. All right. Now pause and put as much pressure as you'd like and slowly rock towards the outer foot and then towards the inner foot. And just do that one back and forth a couple of times. Yeah. All right. And then pause. Now we'll move the foot out and the ball in, stretching out the sole of your foot. And then return to center. Do that again. Press and open. You might also have a tighter foot. One foot's often tighter than the other. That's it. Then the next time the ball is at the inner foot, stay and give yourself a little squash release a couple of times. That's it. And then we'll pause and go the other direction. So move the foot in and the ball out, stretching out the skin on your feet. How often are you requested to stretch the skin of your sole of the feet? All right, now stay here, and on the outer foot, you'll do a little press, release, squash. Okay, and then pause. Let's reset the ball so it's right at the front of your heel. And give as much tolerable pressure as you want, and then give yourself a quick side to side to side to side. Yeah. And then just a teeny little bit move your foot forward so the ball goes now more towards the middle of the heel. Excellent. Shift back. So now have the heel down and the ball of your foot over the ball. We'll make a fist with your toes and then open and wiggle. And do that one a couple of times more. All right. And then keep your heel down and go across the ball of the foot. Okay. And then pause. And now we'll go back and forth along the length of the foot. Do a few rounds through the inner part, the middle, and the outer. That's it. And then from here, very little, almost no pressure. All right. And then pause. So stand off the ball, 2 feet on the floor. Close your eyes, take a few breaths, and notice. Take that little scan from your feet up. Notice the joints in your legs and even beyond. All right, and then open your eyes and make sure you're standing in the same spot that you were before, if you remember. And then turn to your right. Oh, and see if you turn anymore. I sure do. And then turn to the left. Yeah. All right, and then come back to center. Did you find any more turns?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yoga miracle.
It's a yoga miracle. Yeah, let's check your forward fold and see if that feels any different too. Oh, yeah. All right, Zach, your right arm is still longer than the left. Maybe it just is anyway. Yeah, okay. Let's come on down. You can put the ball aside. We will pick it up again in a little bit, so have it handy. And let's take a little just laying down check-in with your body. So come on down to your mat. If you're comfortable having the legs all the way long, do that. If that's not okay for right now, keep your knees bent instead. Yeah. And just like we took that little scan standing up, let's take the little scan here lying down, starting at your feet. And as you scan up the body, notice your points of contact, where you're touching the floor and where that might be different on the right side and the left side. Yeah. And then let's turn your head a couple times from side to side. And that too might feel different right to left. Yeah. So let's relax your head and bend your knees. Bring the soles of the feet to the floor. And at first, I think you guys have both done this with me before, really, really tiny movements. So let's use your right knee to draw a circle on the ceiling and make the circle about the size of a quarter. And as your knee is tracing this circular pathway, notice that there's a weight shift in your foot, in the right foot. Notice also that there's some movement in the right hip joint, the ball and socket joint. Let's keep our awareness there for a while. And notice if any part of this circular movement is not circular. Maybe it's a straight line, maybe there's a corner, maybe there's a bump. And see if you can really make it round and smooth. And the tempo of your pace, can you stay really even throughout the whole round of the circle? You don't want one part that's fast movement, another part that's slow, but really even throughout. And I find one little spot, whenever I get to one little spot, I rush through it. And it's like a little bump. So I'm going to pay extra attention whenever I get to that one spot. Yeah, let's go the other way. Still on the right side. And you might notice when you change directions that you have to remind yourself, smooth, round, even tempo. All right, and then pause here. And let's rest your hands low on your abdomen, below the navel. And having your hands here will give you a little bit of feedback. Because as we're moving the right leg, we want to keep the pelvis relatively still. So let's take your right knee to the right. And then back to center. So if you know the pose Baddha Konasana, it's basically that. Take that a couple times. And the next time you come back up, stay there and walk your right foot just a small step to the right. And now we'll drop the knee in. So you're going to the big toe side of the foot and back to center. Do that one a few more rounds. Apologies, I thought I was done with this cold, but sometimes if I lay down for a while, it comes back. So you might hear it in my voice. Yeah. So let's go back and forth, rotate out and rotate in. And just like when we were making that circle, see if you can have the pathway here be really smooth in the hip joint itself. Move within a range that feels easy for your body to do rather than trying to push beyond something, or you know what I mean. There's a time and a place for kind of pushing your limit. For this particular practice, see if you can move within a range that feels really, really easy. Yeah. All right. And then pause once you're back in the center again. Now, in a moment, we'll be sliding the right leg, and I always get stuck on my mat. So I'm going to scooch my whole body a little to the right so that my right foot is on the floor. You're welcome to do that as well. Then let's rock your right knee to the right side. At this point, allow the pelvis to move, and then lengthen the right leg down, and then de-rotate so your knee and toes point up to the ceiling. Then let's rotate out, bend your knees, slide up, foot to the floor, knee to the ceiling. So we'll do that a couple of times. So rock out to the side, lengthen, de-rotate, and then re-rotate back to center and up. Let's do that one just a couple more times. And as you're moving along, just think about ease in the hip joint and the ball and socket. Yeah. All right. And then the next time the foot is standing, we'll pause, and we're done with that little bit. If you went to the side, you can come back to center again. Now drop your right knee over to the right side. Take the pelvis with you so the left hip lifts up a little bit. And then come back to center. Drop the right knee in and lift the right hip a little bit. Back to center. So do that a few times. Drop the knee to the right and lift the left hip. Come back to center. Drop the right knee to the left and lift the right hip. The whole while we're keeping the left leg relatively still. Yeah. It's like a one-sided windshield wiper. Good. Let's take it one more time. And then come back to center and lengthen both legs long on the floor. And take a little check-in now, right side versus left side. For me, I'll just tell you, my whole right side of the body feels closer to the floor than the left. Also feels a little longer. Yeah. So let's do this whole progression on the left, starting with your bent knees, feet on the floor. And now on your left side, let's use the knee to make a little circle on the ceiling. As you're going along, smooth, even, round. Keep your attention right in the hip joint. And notice any little spots along the way. And I didn't say this in the first side, it's totally fine to slow everything down. And if you do, keep it the same tempo, just slower. And that might be an interesting way to get into any of the little bumps along the way. Yeah, let's go the other direction. Great. And then pause here. Let's rest the hands low on your abdomen. And take your left knee to the left, keeping the pelvis relatively still. And then back to center. And do that a couple more times. And for me, I notice right away that the range of motion is different on the left than the right. And if you notice a difference too, just go with whatever feels really easy for your body to do. All right, next time you come back up, we'll walk the left foot a little wider and then lower the knee in towards the midline, going to the big toe side of your foot and return to center. Do that one a few more. Yeah. And then we'll add this to the first part. So go back and forth, keeping your pelvis and the right leg relatively still. All right, next time you come back to the center, we'll do the leg slidey movement. If you need to scoot your body a little to the left, you can do that here. And then lower your left knee to the left. Lengthen the leg down. De-rotate. Re-rotate. Bend the knee and come back up. So do that pattern a couple of times. And as you're going along, for this part, allow the pelvis to wobble a little bit. And see if you can make the movement really lazy. Yeah. All right. Next time we come back up, stay. Come to the center of your mat if you moved a little bit. And then keep your left foot a little bit wider than hips width. Let's move the knee to the left, and as you do, lift the right hip, take the pelvis with you. Come to center, drop the knee to the right, and lift the left hip. And do that a couple times more, keeping the right leg relatively still. Yeah. And now go ahead and bring both legs together to one side and then to the other side. The windshield wiper movement, but we kind of deconstructed it. As you're moving the legs, bring your awareness a little higher up the body and notice what's going on in your spine, your rib cage, your shoulders, head. Yeah. All right. And then we'll come back to center. Take another little recheck here. Put your legs long. Notice how you're meeting the floor now. Yeah. And let's add in a head turn. See if that's different at all, right and left. Okay. Bring your head to center. Now, hopefully you still have that ball. Let's bend your knees. And then take the ball and put it under the right buttock. There's not an exact spot. So start right in the middle, but feel free to move it at any point. And now let's do the movement again, where we take the knee to the side and back to center. And now there's going to be this thing in the way. Earlier we were focusing more on the hip joint. Now we're going to focus more on the muscles in the back of the right leg. So the gluteus, piriformis, some of the other ones back there. All right. Next time your right knee is off to the side, stay there. Use your left foot to kind of push off and move your pelvis a little side to side so the ball is going to roll across. Yeah. And of course, feel free to move it at any point. It might feel better to go a little higher, a little lower. Sometimes the ball gets away from you. This is another one I used to do more regularly, and it wasn't quite as intense as it is now. Yeah. All right. And then release that. Take the ball away. Let's take another, just put your legs long and right, left. Notice the difference. Okay, do the left side. So back to center we come. Pop the ball in under the left buttock. And then we'll bring the knee out to the side and back to center in a very similar way to what we just did. But now there's something in the way. Oh, yeah. Also, feel free if you need to swap to a different ball, that's fine at any point if you have one available. We'll pause the next time you take the knee to the side and then push off the right foot to move your pelvis from side to side, which will essentially roll the ball back and forth. Yeah. All right. And then enough is enough. Let's take the ball aside. We won't need it again. Yeah. I'll take one more little check-in. And now with your legs long on the floor, roll your inner thighs more down towards the floor. Flex your feet so your knees and toes point up towards the ceiling. And then we'll do a quick point and flex with the feet, but here we want the heels to catch the floor. So your whole body ends up bobbing a little up and a little down. Kind of like you're on one of those little trampolines, doing a little bounce, bounce, bounce. Yeah. All right. And then let the movement just start to peter out. Okay. So from here, let's bend your knees and roll over onto one side. We will stay on your side for a bit, and I'll suggest some kind of support underneath your head. You can have the knees bent. If you need to put a block in between the knees, if that feels better. And then, oh, you guys know what we're gonna do. So have your arms out just right in front of you, the top arm hand touching the bottom hand. And we'll glide forward so your whole chest will move a little towards the floor. And then as you glide back, keep the top arm straight. As you go back, the hand will slide against the forearm of the bottom arm. And then do this just a couple more times. For now, we'll keep the top arm straight and allow your head to come along for the ride. So it'll just gently roll from side to side. You could have your eyes open or closed. Great. And then as we add on to this movement, next time you draw the arm back, bend the elbow and allow the hand to slide across the chest. We'll turn it open and then reverse the direction, come back the way you came. Let's do that much a couple more times. All right. And then the next time we meet the hands, we'll pause here. We'll change our pattern just a little bit. This time, glide forward and keep your fingers touching or close to the floor. Arc the arm up by your head and around to the other side. You're in that twist. And then here, reverse the direction, go over your head, back where you started. So let's take that one just a couple more times. I should have mentioned you could clear any obstacles out of the way. I always think of that too. Yeah. Okay. And the next time we land, we'll pause. Breath. We'll do one more thing on this side. Lift your top arm, but keep the joints relaxed in your fingers, wrist, elbow. And then pretend somebody's holding your hand here and tracing this circle. So have minimal effort on your part as the hand makes a circle. And I say the hand, but it's the whole arm. It's moving. Yeah. And then we'll go the other way. Great. All right. From here, release your arm. Let's take another little check-in on your back. So roll over, and if you have something under your head, you can just keep it there. Yeah. Notice particularly your upper body now, right versus left. Once again, I feel like one side is closer to the floor than the other. I feel like I'm on a slant board here. And then when you're ready, we'll turn onto the second side. I'm going to spin around here. Support your head however you like. And if you need any support in between the legs, you can take that as well. All right, so for the first part, we'll keep the top arm straight, glide forward, and then glide back. So your chest will turn more towards the ceiling, allow your head to roll back and forth as you're moving along. You can have your eyes open or closed. And you might notice right away this second side has a different, it just moves differently. Yeah. So adding on, next time you draw back, bend the elbows, slide across the arm, across the chest as you turn open. And then reverse that and go again. Yeah. So let's meet here the next time your hands touch, back to starting position. We'll slide forward and arc up overhead, roll open into the twist, and then reverse that, go back the way you came. Let's take that one a couple more times. Yeah. So we'll meet the next time you come back to the starting position. We'll lift the top arm up and keep the joints in your arms, hand and fingers really relaxed as your imaginary friend draws the circle. And just like when we were doing those hip circles, see if you can go smooth around, even tempo. Size doesn't matter so much here, but do try to keep it smooth around and even. Yeah, let's go the other way. All right. And then from here, release
You
the
can
top.
add that to your Halloween repertoire with the hand coming out of the grave.
The hand coming out of the grave. Yeah, we can certainly add that in. All right, guys, let's roll over onto your back once again. Yeah, just check it out. You can have the legs bent or straight. Notice what you notice. So in a moment, we'll come off your back, but we'll still be sitting. So at least we're not coming all the way up yet. When you're ready, just roll to one side and press up. Great. So earlier we targeted the feet with the balls. Then we'll do a little calf stretch with the block. It's not so much a stretch as a roll. So we'll set up one block. I think you've both done this with me, and put the right leg over the block, and we'll do 3 spots. So let's do the first spot closer to the foot. If you want more weight, you can put the other leg on top. If not, don't do it. And then start to shift from side to side. I like doing this one with the soft blocks. we've got soft blocks here. We've also got the harder ones. I don't recommend it on the harder ones. Some people, though, enjoy that. Let's pause next time you're in an interesting spot and start to move your right foot. That could be circles, you could do point flex, you could do side to side. Yeah. All right. And then we'll pause and move one notch up. So it's kind of right in the middle. And here we go again. Side to, oh. And maybe I'll save this class and watch it after the next marathon because this is a great post-run class that I didn't do, but I should have. All right, we'll pause here and move your right foot around.
I like it because we started with the feet and we went to upper body too.
Yeah, sometimes I'll just focus on one, but today is more of a full spectrum. Let's pause here and then go one notch up, and it's not right behind the knee, a little lower than that. And oh, here we go again. And then pick a spot and add in foot movement. Okay, so let's pause here. We'll take the block away. We'll do the second side, but before we do, just give your hands a little movement. Sometimes the hands get tired holding it up like that. Okay, and then we'll go for the second leg. So let's set up the block here. Put your left leg over and start low. Right leg on top, and side to side we go. Oh. Let's pause and add in our foot movement. Great. And then release that. Let's go one notch up, right in the middle. For me today, every spot is interesting. Sometimes I feel more or less in one area, but today it's all interesting. All right, and then pause and add in your foot movement, whatever that may be. All righty. And one last place. Great, and add in your foot movement here. Nice work. Okay, so let's release that. Put the block aside. Give your hands again just any little wrist finger movements. Yeah. I'm going to turn over, and don't worry, I won't put us on our hands. We'll kind of go onto the elbows. So this next one will be some rotations. Take your knees as wide apart as comfortable. It doesn't have to be really wide. And then we'll bring the the left forearm straight down the center of your mat. Take the right hand, the back of your hand to the sacrum. And then we'll inhale On the exhale, rotate your spine along its axis to the right, and you won't go terribly far. Inhale, come back to center. So take that a couple times more. So for these, we'll turn to the right on the exhales. Later, we'll do a different one where the breathing pattern is different. Let's take one more time. Great. And then undo, and we'll do the second side. So have the right forearm straight down the center of your mat, left back of the hand to your sacrum, breathe in. And then use the exhale to rotate your left, rotate along the spinal axis. Inhale to center. And take that a few times more. Take your time, just move at whatever is your pace of breath. Yeah. All right. And then we'll come back to center. Put both hands to the floor. Come to your all fours position. And then just start to move around a little bit. Anything you want to do is fine. I'll suggest don't move too quickly. Great. So next, we'll do a similar pattern, but a little different focus. Widen your knees slightly. Take the left hand forward in the center of the mat. And now as you inhale, turn to the right, bend your elbow and squeeze your shoulder blade towards your spine. On the exhale, release that as you scoop the arm underneath. You can bend the left elbow. And do this one a couple more times. So inhale, we turn to the right, squeeze your shoulder blade in. And then exhale, scoop underneath. Yeah, take one more time and we'll meet in the underneath position. If your head doesn't easily make it to the floor, put a block under so you have some support there. And gently press the back of your right arm into the floor. And then in slow, small, incremental movements, shift your pelvis from side to side. Yeah. And then move your whole torso a little forward and a little back. And I say a little, it's like an inch. Good. All right, and then pause. Let's come back to center with your hands, back to center with your knees. Take a few rounds of cat-cow. See if it feels any different in the right shoulder and shoulder blade than the left. Good. All right, let's pause. Widen your knees a bit. Take your right hand forward and in the center. Inhale, turn to the left, squeeze the shoulder blade to the spine. Exhale, scoop it under as the shoulder blade moves away from the spine. Do that a couple times. After this next one, we'll stay down there. Once you're in position, press the back of the left arm down gently, gently, and teeny tiny movement. Move the pelvis right and left a couple of times. We're pinning the arm in and moving the pelvis, but also the rib cage relative to the shoulder blade. And then go a little forward and back a couple of times. Yeah. All right, let's pause. Press into the floor with your right hand. Come back to center. Reset your knees. Take a few more rounds of cat-cows. Yeah. All right, friends, let's pause here. We'll take just a brief down dog. And even though the class is almost over, this is our first down dog. But we've already opened up the feet, the calves, the hips, the shoulders. The first down dog might feel better than other first dogs. All right, let's come into forward fold. See if your forward fold feels any different than the last time we checked.
Still hungry.
Nice. Me too, it feels better. Let's bend the knees. Bring your hands to your hips. Hinge forward to come up. Now here we are in our mountain pose, or get to mountain pose. And if you remember where you were standing at the very beginning, try to find that same exact spot again. Yeah. Well, let's turn to your right. See if the rotation has improved at all. Mine sure has. And then come back to the center, turn to your left. Yeah, good. And then come back to center. Soften the joints in your legs. And let's just take some easy circles. Stir the cauldron, but lazily. Yeah. Go the other direction. All right. And then pause here. Take a small step apart with your feet, just a little wider. Bend the knees again. And now take just kind of random anything goes sort of movements, but see if you can purposely add in some shoulder blade actions. Let them move up and down and in and out and around. Yeah. Let the movement in the shoulder blades guide the movement in the rest of the body. Okay. And then from here, our standing portion of class is complete. Let's come back down again. And now this time we'll set up for a supported fish pose on the blocks. So I'm going to say if you do this pose and have your favorite setup, take it the way you like it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to show you my favorite, which is just the lowest one. So one block going across. And then the next block behind can go high, medium, low, whatever feels best. That's going to be for your head. And as we come down, we want the first block to support your shoulder blades, not the upper part of the shoulder, but the scapula. Yeah. Yeah. Zach, I'm thinking, come up again. Yeah. Actually, let me just set it for you. Now, very slowly. Here. Is that good or no good?
If that's what it is, it's great.
Okay, well, I'm asking if it's comfortable. Like,
Oh, yeah, I'll still
relative-
fall asleep.
Okay, all right. Now, I'm going to actually readjust the head block. Lift your head for a sec, and then down again. So that's a little lower. I think that's better.
I'm definitely falling asleep.
Yeah. All right. Now, from this position, just do nothing for a moment. Yeah. Sorry, I keep fidgeting. I'm looking for the light switch. See if you can find some softness in your face, in your throat, in your abdomen. And allow your body here just to drape over the blocks. Reversing the effects of computer asana. Now you're welcome to stay on the blocks for a little longer. When it feels right to come lie down in Shavasana, you can make that transition as you're ready. Just take time to make yourself comfortable. And let go of the work from your day, from your body. And for the next few minutes, give yourself this time just to rest. Bring your attention back to your body. Take a fuller, deeper breath. Start to bring in any kind of gentle movement. And if you're on the floor, you can bend your knees. Roll to one side. And then we'll meet upright sitting. Hands at heart center. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.